Hey, it's Alan. It's June 30th, 2014, and I'm 3.5 weeks on T. So I wanted to give you an update on my changes and my feelings and all that. Um, so let me say a word about the shots themselves. That's been a little interesting because when I had basically my third shot, which was a bit more than a week ago, um, that's the first one I did at home by myself as opposed to doing it in the doctor's office with the nurse's supervision. And this was the first time that I had used my own little bottle of testosterone that I'd gotten from the pharmacy instead of using the doctor's supply. So I did the shot in my thigh and it went fine. And as I was sitting there in the bathroom, just sort of catching my breath, I was looking at the container of testosterone, and I gradually noticed that the concentration of the testosterone was half as much as the stuff I had used at the doctor's office. So, like, the nurse at the office said like a million times, get it into the syringe up to where it says half. Half, half, half. So when I did my own shot, I was like, half, half, half. And so then afterwards I was like, oh, I guess with this bottle of testosterone I should have done 1 milliliter instead of a half. I wish they had told that to me, and even more, I wish that they had given me the same concentration so I don't have to inject that much fluid, which is more difficult and probably more painful. So that sucked. So I just decided to do the second half of my dose right then, immediately, so that I could have my full dose for the week and not have to think about it anymore. So I did a second shot in the same thigh, a couple inches away. That was a bummer. I mean, it went well. It was okay, but just be nicer to not do that. To not do two shots immediately, one after the other. Um, and then the next time, which was just several days ago, my wife did the shot for me, which was nice because that was less stressful, and she did a great job because she's a doctor. She did that in my butt muscle, and I don't know if it's because that muscle is bigger than the thigh muscle, or if she had some really good technique or what, but um, after that shot, my butt muscle was not sore at all, like literally zero soreness, which was nice. Because the previous time when I had done those two shots in a row at home myself, my thigh for like a day or two afterwards was so sore. I mean, it felt like as if I had been bruised by being hit with a baseball bat in the thigh, combined with a cramp like a Charlie horse. Unpleasant. Um, so we'll see how it goes. So that's the deal with shots. Other changes and updates. So yeah, I've continued to notice a slightly worse body odor. It's not really extreme as far as I can tell so far, but yeah, it's slightly worse. Um, this is kind of gross, but it's like if I've been, like sweating or like hot all day, like I am right now because it's hot out, um, it's along the lines of like kind of smelling as if I've been wearing polyester, even if I have not been wearing polyester, so that's not fun. Um, and then along those lines, like body emanations. Continuing what I said in my last update, my face is very oily. Like, way more than twice as oily than pre-T, if it's possible to quantify that. Just like gross, extreme oily. I wash my face several times a day, like more frequently than I did before. And I wash with a acne face wash. Um, and I do have acne now. I have noticed a difference with that. I mean, luckily, it's not like you can totally see it, and it's not like it looks horrible, right now, but it's there. Like, at any given time, I probably have, like, I don't like maybe 7 kind of serious pimples on my face. It's a bummer, but I know that it'll ultimately be temporary, and that's just what I have to go through. Um, and I was gonna say something related to that. What was it? Oh yeah, face. My face seems a little puffy to me, and I know that that tends to happen to trans guys, or maybe to teenage boys too, I think. Like, your face is just kind of puffy for a period of time. So, yeah, there you go. Other stuff. I'm not sure if I've gained weight or not, because at first I thought I had, but then I realized that the scale at my gym is inaccurate, or it had been inaccurate before, and maybe they changed it to make it accurate, so... And I don't have a scale at home, so I might have gained weight, but I'm not sure. I'm sure that's a very helpful comment. Not. And so speaking of weight, mass, I feel like I've gained some kind of mass, like with my muscles, because there's a difference. Just continuing what I had said in my last update, which is that my muscles definitely feel like harder to the touch than they did pre-T. They feel more dense, is one way I would explain it. And they feel bigger to me. I mean, they don't necessarily look that different. I measured various parts of my body, like pre-T and then also recently, because I am just very fascinated by tracking changes in that way. Like, I like doing, like, monitoring the changes from sort of a scientific, documented standpoint. So anyway, thus far there have not been any differences in any of my measurements anywhere on my body. Well, except for one little one, which I'll talk about in a couple minutes. But yeah, but it's like I have more muscle density or something. Or like they're not bigger when I'm relaxed, but they're bigger when I'm flexed. I don't know. But I am stronger, for sure. My exercises feel easier. And I was able to measure this because, in the interest of scientific documentation, pre-T, I did several exercises just to use as sort of benchmarks. And I wrote down the reps that I could do. And then I did those exercises yesterday at the gym and did as many as I could to do a comparison. So, pre-T, let me use the example of push-ups. So these are push-ups, just normal push-ups, like on my feet and then leaning on my fists, because it's uncomfortable for me to lean on my palms after I broke my wrist a year and a half ago. So I do push-ups on my fists. So pre-T, I could do one set of 30 push-ups, followed after a short break by another set of 20. Yesterday, I did 2 sets of 40. So that feels good. And another one of those exercises that I'm measuring is squats on one leg, like where I stand on one leg and squat down till my knee is like at that sort of an angle. Pre-T, the most I could do in one set was 25 reps, and yesterday the most I could do in a set is 30. Yeah, 30. So that's something of an improvement. That's cool. And then pull-ups, where you hold onto a bar and then pull your body up. Pre-T, I couldn't really quite do any, like, solid, legit, like, full pull-ups. But yesterday I could do 5. So that feels really amazing. It's fun. Feels good. So there you have that. Other things. My voice As I said before, and it's continuing, it feels much different to me, like in my head, when I speak. It feels much lower. Um, I think for whatever reason, it took other people a little bit longer to notice a change in my voice than it took me. But lately, a few people have told me that it seems a little lower, so I like that. When I sing, badly, I might add, because I'm always very off key, my singing voice and range seems the same as before, but that maybe in addition I can go a little lower. But I don't think I've had the like inability to go super high that I've heard other people describe yet. Um, Other things to mention, I'm looking at my list. Um, so one thing is that I have not had any hair growth anywhere that I can notice. And I'm being patient with that, that's okay. And I think it makes sense, because, like, think about the ability of cells in your body to change. It's not like your body can just suddenly spew out a million new cells overnight, you know? Like, I mean, think about how long it takes your hair to grow if you get a haircut. Think about how long it takes to grow, like, a half inch of hair. It doesn't happen in just several days. So, um, yeah, so I feel like it's not a surprise that I don't have any additional hair of any sort right now. And probably the only other thing to address, aside from feelings and thoughts, which I'll get to in a moment, is the lower growth, which has continued. And I feel much better about it now than I did in the first week, partially because it's getting to the point where I'm able to perceive it as more male. You know, like in terms of how it can be like grabbed and stuff like that. And also the sensation has increased a lot, both in a good way and an uncomfortable way. So the good way is that, like, you know, like the dick part seems much more sensitive, like along the lines of, you know, how I would want it to feel if I were born with a male body. Like the sensation is just increased and feels more male, I guess I would say. So that's good. That's a nice payoff. So I'm feeling fine about that. And so the growth, yeah. As I said, like in my first week, it's kind of the whole area that seems to grow. And I'm feeling okay about that at this point. I'm not tripping about that anymore, partially because of the increased sensation. And so the growth itself, let me see if I can describe that in a way that feels okay to me. So like pre-T, I would be like, there's nothing to mention. I can't talk about the size because, like, what do you even measure? Like, it has no size. But now it's very different. Um, I mean, like, it has length. So, um, like, I don't know quite how to describe that in a way that would make sense to everybody without, like, drawing a picture or something, but well, I mean, okay, so it might be around, I estimate, like an inch long, but of course, you know, it's kind of held down close to my body, obviously, which is like way, way bigger than before, than pre-T. And I would estimate that, like, the actual, like, dick part is like a quarter of an inch wide, quarter of an inch, like, thick, basically. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that in case that helps anybody, or in case you're curious about it, because like when I was pre-T watching these videos, I would always want as much info as possible so that I could be informed and have some idea of what was in store for me. So there you go. Anyway, getting to more mental, emotional stuff. Um, for one thing, I feel like the testosterone and estrogen in my system are probably still really battling it out. Like, I don't think that the female hormones have been really knocked down that much for various reasons, one of which is that, like, I can definitely still cry. I can still cry a lot, and I feel quite teary and moody and emotional. So that's sort of a challenge to deal with, as it would be for anybody. Hopefully that will not last a terribly long time. And what else? I've been feeling irritable, which goes along with what I just mentioned. Not like angry or enraged, but just irritable and moody. And in terms of my mental state or thoughts, one thing worth remarking on is that I've just been feeling more male, and I might describe that as feeling that my mind and body are a little bit more in alignment, or that my mind, my inner sense of myself as a guy is more validated or less interrupted or something like that. Like, for instance, I find that I have moments, whether I'm at home or out and about just walking around, that I sort of forget that I'm trans or female, which is interesting. I never experienced that pre-T. So I have less like self-consciousness, less hyper-consciousness about how I interact with strangers, like at the grocery store. Like pre-T, I would be really self-conscious of every word that I said, every mannerism, and I'd be afraid of how people would perceive me. But now, even though I don't look or sound that different at all, I've had this mental change where I have just automatically, without even being that aware of it, I've let go of some of that hyper self-consciousness, and I feel much more at ease, much more free in my going about the world and interacting with people, which is awesome. I mean, it's almost sort of magical that like that much of a mental change could happen even if I haven't had that many physical changes yet. So yeah, and then also along those lines, one new thing is that it feels very strange and very inaccurate for me to say or to think that I'm female, which is different than pre-T. So, yeah, fascinating. And I just feel good about my transition in general. Like, I feel good, solid about being on T. I feel positive about the road that I'm on. Yeah, it just feels really good and freeing. And, like, I feel like I have this potential as a person that I didn't have before in terms of my potential to feel happy, as well as my potential to be social and just do stuff in my life, whatever that may be. And I feel hopeful about the future, which is not something I've always been able to feel in my life. So, yeah, feeling good. I'm thankful that I live in a time and place where I'm able to do this. So, there you go. Sorry this is such a long video. Well, if you're still watching, thank you. I hope it was worthwhile. Let me know if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, or whatever else. Thanks for watching. Bye.